Welcome to the new and improved Pushing Buttons.
Hello.
This is a video game podcast that we normally do bi-weekly. I think we're going to stick to bi-weekly. We weren't around 2 weeks ago from today. It's been a month now.
It's been a while.
Month, boys.
We missed you.
Month boys.
Month, boys. Do you like our den? If you're
Yeah.
if you're listening
Welcome
to this,
to our den.
That's why we were gone for a month.
if you're listening on an audio-only version, just check us out on YouTube, just at least for the thumbnail, so you'll see our new and improved permanent background that we can add stuff to and take stuff away from, because it's our den. It's the Pushing Buttons den.
See, Kratos is so happy over there because he heard
Because he's on
he
my
won
side.
our Game of the Year award. So
This guy right here, you
Yeah.
can tell how happy he is because he wants to suck on my finger. He was our...
Oh, no, I was looking up at Kratos. Sorry.
No, I meant Kratos was going to suck my finger. Not
Oh,
you,
I thought you
pal.
meant me.
Don't worry. No.
Oh.
That's a little weird.
Gotcha.
But he was our Game of the Year 2018.
yeah,
So this is
He's a happy guy.
This is our new setup.
Our basement.
Yeah. We weren't
den.
around a couple of weeks ago. We were taking a little break because, well, first of all, we wanted to get something a little bit more permanent, but we're also taking the podcast in a little bit of a new direction. We're not going to specifically have one topic every time that we're going to talk about. There will be some episodes, like next month. I don't know if you guys know this, but I do want to do a Star Wars game episode next month, the beginning of the month, around May the 4th or so.
Hey,
So
that's the
probably
same time as our 1 year anniversary.
No, that's 2 weeks later.
That's almost near the same time as our anniversary.
it's adjacent to the same time.
Yeah. So I think the next episode after this one's going to be Star Wars themed. The one after that will be, we don't know exactly what we're going to do, but we have some stuff planned for our 1 year.
We'd like to do something special.
Yeah,
Something awesome for
something
you
to
guys.
thank you guys all for sticking around with us and just hopefully enjoying what we do here, because I know we enjoy doing this. And when we were taking our break and we didn't know how long the break was going to be, turns out we couldn't live without this podcast for longer
Very
than
long.
one episode of not doing it. But we were all pretty saddened by it because we want this is our outlet. And whether or not you guys discuss things back with us, even if you just listen to us on your drive or working out, whatever you're doing, we appreciate each and every one of you.
We really do.
Thank you.
If you're listening to this podcast, you can watch us on YouTube. Just search us up, Pushing Buttons Podcast on YouTube, or vice versa. If you're watching us, you can listen to us on the go via any of the regular podcast apps that you may have on your phone, minus Spotify for now. We'll see how that goes in the future. We stream from time to time on Twitch, twitch.tv/pushingbuttons. I normally wouldn't say this, but I'm going to recommend you guys not subscribe to that channel right now because we're not consistent enough for it to feel like we deserve any money for that.
It's been difficult to find a consistent time of day or week.
Between the three of us all working 40 hours a week on top of doing this and having personal lives with, women and children in his case. We don't have kids together yet, but
We're planning to.
You have a pet. It's
I have a fur child, as it's referred to sometimes. We're going to talk a bit more about the podcast and what it means to us. I think we kind of did this maybe a few months ago.
I think we did it for our 6-month anniversary.
I think this is going to help us kind of decide the future of the direction that the podcast is going to take in future episodes going forward. I want to hit on a couple before the Star Wars episode. I do want to talk a bit about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the ramifications of that game and what that entails. I'm going to probably gush a bit more about Satisfactory and some other games that I've been playing. But before I get to any of that, we're also going to talk very minorly, guys.
Yes, keyword there.
About Game of Thrones, the first episode of the new season.
Spoilers.
by the time this comes out, the second episode will have been out.
We're recording this the Friday before that comes out, so sorry. There will not be spoilers, actually.
There will be no spoilers.
No spoilers whatsoever.
None.
But just our general feelings of that, because we all watched it and we're big Game of Thrones nerds. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, shout out to Geek Freaks Podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much.
If you do want spoilers on episodes or just want to listen to somebody's opinions on that, they do weekly reviews this season. It seems like I listened to their first episode review and they're really insightful. I gotta
Yeah.
say.
I really wanted to hop in on the conversation.
Right, yeah. Go, if you like us, you'll like them. Check them out. Just search up Geek Freaks Podcast, and you can find them pretty much anywhere. They're in a lot of places that we're even.
They have an Instagram. They have a Twitter account.
Oh, we have Twitter too.
Yeah,
and
we do.
Instagram.
We do.
Yeah. Pushing Buttons P on Twitter. Pushing Buttons Podcast on Instagram. I'm at ImpulseG66 on Twitter.
I'm at Too Spooky for Robert.
At Monumentus Kyle.
Yeah, and we're on all the platforms as well. Enough of that stuff. What have you guys been up to the last month that we've been away? Because we haven't been able to share our
It's been a
stuff
busy
with
month.
them.
It really has.
Yeah.
I can't
Crazy
think of a
busy.
whole lot that I've done.
Really?
Maybe you should go first then.
You know what? I will go first. Had I watched Captain Marvel by the time we recorded last? I think I was.
You did not actually.
I was going to watch it the weekend after we recorded.
Sounds about right.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
I watched Captain Marvel.
We all did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed that movie. I remember talking about this on the podcast. I thought I did.
Maybe you did.
Cliff Notes. It was one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite, in the MCU right now.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember that reaction,
That
so
good.
maybe I'm just having weird deja vu.
Yeah, this is.
I
actually
remember
pretty
we talked
timely.
about it
Yeah.
outside of the podcast.
Yeah.
At least.
Gotcha.
And was
I just
surprised.
realized when this episode airs, Endgame will be in 2 days,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Hashtag no spoilers.
Yeah,
They're
no,
already
here.
out there.
Don't
So
spoil
I've been
the end.
Yeah, be
avoiding
careful.
everything.
Don't spoil the end
No.
game. I last night got Katana Zero on Steam. I was gonna get it on GOG, but I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna get it on Steam. I'm just gonna get it on Steam. Yeah, it's Mark of the Ninja meets Hotline Miami, and there's a heavy Hotline Miami influence there. They don't shy away from it. It's side scrolling as opposed to like an isometric top down view, but I gotta say, I feel the same way about it that I did Hotline Miami. I was really into Hotline Miami and into Katana Zero because the aesthetic, the music, the style of gameplay.
Mhm.
The controls didn't sit well with me, and maybe
really?
because I only played it for less than an hour, but I couldn't get into it because I felt like I didn't have the full control over the character. And I think I've talked about this in the past with video games, especially side-scrolling video games. I need to be able to feel like I'm in total control of the character, or otherwise I feel like the game's playing me, I guess. Which is why I never got into the original Risk of Rain. I think I mentioned that when I was talking about Risk of Rain 2. Have I talked about Risk of Rain 2 on this podcast,
No,
guys?
you have not.
Oh, man. I'll get
talked
into
about so many games I haven't heard of, so I couldn't tell you.
I'll get into Risk of Rain 2 a little bit later. But yeah, Katana Zero, it's a really good game, really good soundtrack. As of right now, with the little amount of time that I have had to play it, couldn't get into the controls, which kind of dampened my experience a bit. But I assume I'll go back to it, especially since it's still brand new. It's only been out for a day. I'll give it another go.
At this point, yeah.
It's on PC. It's on Nintendo Switch. So if you have a Switch and you're looking for another killer indie game, there you go. Yeah. I'm sure I'll think of other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of you guys just jump in.
Well, I will start next.
That's how starting works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start second.
I wanted to say that I finally finished Detroit Become Human.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I loved it. It's the first David Cage game that I played, and so I didn't have any expectations going into it other than I knew the story, basically, like the Android Uprising and all that, and so, but I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I enjoyed it a lot.
Good. That doesn't surprise me to hear, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
I do recall when I played it, like I couldn't stop playing it till I finished the story because
Yeah.
the narrative was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't have any problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an action movie type setup. It's not super complex, but there are, little intricacies in it, and I loved, the just having the choices and stuff. And like I said, it's kind of like a Telltale game, which I just got into last year as well. It's where that style of game, so I want more of that now. But after I beat it, I did start reading up a little more about like him and the other games he's made and like the controversies around it and stuff. And it kind of reverse engineered some a certain, not like guiltiness, but like it's like, oh, I kind of feel like I enjoyed it a little
Just a
less
little
now, just
less.
reading how like the controversy against him and stuff like that. But I still overall I loved it, and I'm looking forward to whatever next game he comes up with. Probably be on the PS5, but
I try not to let what I read about developers and public. I try not to let that kind of stuff affect what I think about their games. And I can say that as much as you guys like to think that I hate Randy Pitchford, which I don't hate him. I hate some of the stuff he's said and done.
you dislike
Yeah,
it.
me too.
But I greatly dislike the games that Gearbox puts out. That's what my main problem is with Gearbox, is that I don't like their games. So eat that.
Yeah, it was the same with when I read the Kotaku article about the making of Anthem, and even the one from a couple years ago of Mass Effect Andromeda. And it's just reading like what people go through to make these games and to try to put them out on time,
horrible.
crunches and all that, and the higher ups and how they don't care. It's really made me feel like, I mean, I don't buy a lot of EA games anyways, so it's not a huge
But it's,
thing
you know,
for
it
me,
happens
and-
everywhere in the industry. It's
Yeah,
not just
it does.
EA.
And
EA is just the ones that have the more public stories come out about them.
exactly. And it's hard to know if it's like, has it always been like this, or is it just, past couple of years when gaming has become more and more about having something out and having constant content? Because back when I remember like Halo 2 coming out, and it came with the behind the scenes DVD, and it had showing how they made the game and all that, and even the first Mass Effect, it's like it looked like so much fun and these people are enjoying it. So it's like, was it like this then too, or like is it
Like they just
recent
cherry-picked
development?
the best footage from their shooting of the making
So
of.
really makes you kind of think twice about it. But like I said, that's kind of been on my mind past couple of weeks since reading that. Yeah.
That's
Nice.
what I've loved about indie games for so long, is that I know that I've mentioned that I really love the heart and soul that gets put into indie games, and you can tell that that most games that are made by small teams or even by one or two people they're usually labors of love, that they fully invest in what they're doing, sometimes to their detriment. See Fez. But other games that, like Stardew Valley, is just one dude's dream that became a multi-million-dollar reality for this guy, and they absolutely love what they're doing. And I'm granted, it, like I was talking about with Fez and Phil Fish, they can work themselves to really, really harmful extents, but they're not trying to appease a corporation's board of directors or the shareholders.
Yeah, it's their passion project.
Right. As opposed to EA and Ubisoft and Well, speaking of Ubisoft, I think our posters. It's because my shadow.
Oh,
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah, this old thing, I dug it up out of a dumpster somewhere, and it's totally not digital at all. This is a real. We're in a den right now. Yeah,
Of course.
That sign back there is totally real.
It is.
I didn't even try to make that thing look fake. At least these posters and stuff back here, I've like put them askew. I mean, I did the sign too, but you can't see anything wrong with it. It's obviously a digital image. I'm just so terrible.
It's good. I like it.
Anything in the past month or so that you want to talk about in particular, Kyle?
Oh, you're all finished?
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about a couple of movies as well.
We'll get to them.
Oh, okay then. Okay, my bad. Well, I've been hastily rewatching Game of Thrones to make it for the premiere.
That is something I did over the past month too.
Yeah.
Do you want to give our brief rundown of Game of Thrones now while you brought it up?
Sure.
Okay. There was a lot of stuff on the internet that people didn't like the episode because of how slow it was. It didn't lead to much. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people know that big stuff is going to happen pretty soon. Even if they didn't tell you, that's just how Game of Thrones works. The first episode's always setting up for what's coming the rest of the season. Yeah. I really enjoyed it for what it was. It was
a really good episode.
It didn't feel like filler. I haven't seen Game of Thrones in 2 years nearly, so it was a good catch up. It's a good reminder of where everybody's at. Plus, everybody kind of mostly got together, and I thought it was an enjoyable episode.
Yeah, I definitely.
Leave it to me to be positive for a change.
I know, right? There's a couple nitpicky things, but yeah, overall it was a really good episode, and gets you excited for the next one. I can't wait. There's only 4 left when you guys watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's going to happen quick.
Yeah. What'd you think, huh?
It was a generic setup episode, but it was great to see all the character moments between the various characters. That
I keep hitting this.
it's kind
I'm
of hard
sorry
to talk
if you
about
guys
it
hear
without
that.
spoiling anything.
Yeah.
But basically, I think it sets the stage well for the last 5 episodes.
Mhm.
We'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any new games or anything?
Yes. I've been playing a lot of Hollow Knight,
Cool. Have you?
which was recommended to me by Echo81, our sole chat participant
He's
in
the
Twitch.
the consistent person.
Shout
in
outs
our-
to you, by the
Yep.
way. Hope you're having a great time in Tokyo or Osaka, Japan. Pardon me. And fantastic game. I really like it.
How much time have you put into it?
I'd say 25 to 30 hours.
Holy crap! Are you done with
It's
it?
long. No,
Jeez.
I haven't even done the DLC yet.
Wow.
It's a big game.
It's a Metroidvania.
It's like a Souls-inspired Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Basically, the combat is very similar, where you have to make use of the character's abilities to overcome the various bosses.
So it's not like a game like Mass Effect or The Division where you have special skills that you can use and it doesn't matter what you use. It's more specialized where you have to use specific skills at specific times.
Yeah, you can have builds. Like you can use, like you have this gauge called Soul, and you use that to heal yourself.
Yeah, you do.
But you can also use that to cast spells and attack enemies, and you can equip different charms to do different types of attacks.
I keep scooting back.
Like for me, I've been doing a lot of physical
I don't know
attacks, so I equipped something that would make my nail swing faster, so I have more DPS.
Gotcha. It's
And it
all about the
also
beats.
increases the range of it, so I can attack from far away. And the game is really versatile. It's got a lot of depth to it. Like, it's a great game. I'm surprised you don't like it.
It was another one of those games where I felt like I didn't feel. I felt like I didn't feel. I felt like I wasn't controlling the character properly.
But that's what this game's about, is controlling your character to avoid the boss attacks and attacking.
I get
with
that,
the
and I felt
character.
like I couldn't.
Why?
I can't explain why I don't connect with the controller. I just feel like the controls, the flow, it
It was a really. I know how
it didn't
I
feel
know,
tight. Like the controls didn't feel like
It's
responsive.
I understand how you feel because I felt that way when I first played it.
But I gave this one an honest go. I played Katana Zero for 45 minutes so far. I've played Hollow Knight for probably 3 hours.
Mhm. It doesn't really open up till you get the dash.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then you can equip a charm that makes the dash faster.
And it's not that I didn't
And-
like it. It's just that I
Yeah.
have a bunch of other games that are more fun to me that I'd rather play.
That makes sense. But it's a great indie game. I feel like it's really promising. And then there's a sequel announced. Like, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see more of Silk Song.
Celeste DLC is coming out soon.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye out on that too. Supposedly it was supposed to be end of this month, but it looks like it might be next month.
However long it
So,
takes them to get it done.
Whenever that happens, I'm streaming it.
Nice.
You can count on that.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's
that was a
Sekiro
great
going?
stream. That's hard.
Yeah, I've heard more people don't like that game than I've like from my usual sources of opinions. But
It's just it's exhausting
yeah,
to play because you have to constantly focus on each enemy, and the bosses are like 100 times that. It's very difficult to maintain that state of concentration over a long period of battle. But man, it's brutal, but it's fun too.
how would you compare it to the other From Software games?
I mean, right now I'm not really far in it. I would say the last boss I truly killed was I think his name is Genichiro. He's like the one you fight at the top of the pagoda.
Oh, I saw
Ashina
that.
Castle.
I think I watched that.
Yeah, that's as far as I am right now. But I've heard like later bosses are even more difficult. So to me, it's
This
like
is the guy with
holy
the lightning
shit.
attacks, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I do remember
yes.
that then.
But I would still put Bloodborne as my number one,
Okay.
and then I would put Sekiro probably next to it, but a little bit lower because of how sporadic it can feel. But once you master it, like it flows really well. But man, it just really puts you through the ringer.
Is it everything you thought it would be, or is it?
Well, I don't know what happened. Like I was playing through Sekiro when it came out, and then for some reason I just didn't want to play such a demanding game. Like I was like burnt out.
makes sense.
And then I picked up Hollow Knight, and it was so much more accessible, and it just was like really relaxing to play. Like I think I mentioned this off the recording a week or two ago, but I love playing Hollow Knight at night or early in the morning when it's still dark out.
Hollow Morning.
Yeah, like it's really atmospheric, and I love the music and the sound effects of the game.
So one
It's
is
incredible.
One is work to get through. The other is very
It's work to
fun
get through. That's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like.
So speaking of one is work to get through, the other one is more fun. Robert watched both Shazam and Hellboy recently.
He
and
did.
Pet Cemetery.
And Pet Sematary.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to talk about those a little bit?
Sure.
'Cause I'm genuinely curious because I've wanted to see Shazam since I saw the trailer when I watched Captain Marvel. That was the first time I watched the full trailer to Shazam.
I do want to see it, but I'm not in a hurry to see it.
It's
That makes
really
sense.
good, and it's hard to compare because you haven't seen a lot of the DC movies,
Right.
or any of them
Any of
really.
them since like the Dark Knight trilogy.
Okay, so yeah, none of the new DC movies,
Yeah, no.
but is definitely at the top, basically. Like I said, I've said before, Aquaman I think is my favorite.
Aquaman's great.
It is right under it. It's really funny. It's got great action. It's got a lot of heart and stuff because he's a teenager that is in a foster home system, and it was nice to see a movie where the foster parents and the foster home is actually a good place. It seems like every movie or show you watch, it's like a bad place and the parents are evil.
A
And,
little wizard living under the stairs.
yeah, basically. But so it's nice to see like they're actually good people and it's a good story. So it's like heartwarming. And then
You keep hitting that.
I know it's been a while.
It's the clamp that holds
But,
these things up. Yeah.
Yeah, and Zachary Levi, who I never watched Chuck, but I've seen him in like a couple other things.
I couldn't get into that show.
He's really great as Shazam. Like he embodies like the childlike wonder of finding out you have powers and stuff. It's
It's good
awesome.
to hear because
Yeah.
when they first announced that he was cast for it, I was like, really? Him?
I was the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wasn't it rumored it was supposed to be John Cena? I had heard that at one point that
it's possible.
that Cena was
I
going
don't
to be
remember.
playing a DC character, and a lot of people thought it was going to be Shazam.
It's possible. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Pet Cemetery, I enjoyed a lot. I'm a huge fan of the book, so it's kind of hard to do wrong. It's no It, because that movie
It's
was
no
great, but that was good. Hellboy, I knew going into it that it was going to be a bad movie.
I warned you, man. I warned you.
You didn't need to
countless
warn me. I knew
times.
it was going to be bad.
I warned you.
You didn't need to warn me.
Yes.
No.
I was like, save your money.
I didn't want it. I'm
Why
glad I
would
saw
you do
it.
this?
Because
Sometimes you just want to see a movie even though you know it's going to be.
I'd rather
I played
save the
Mass
money.
Effect Andromeda knowing it was going to be a bad game.
that's a good example.
I didn't play Mass Effect Andromeda because I knew it was going to be a bad game.
Some people like to walk into a shit show. Sometimes it's about the experience of living through the shit show.
Exactly. I have the scars now. I'm a huge fan of Hellboy and the comics, so I knew they were bringing it more in line with the comics, like the look and everything. So I wanted to see what it at least looked like on the screen with the designs and stuff from the comics. But it still was not a good movie at all. The editing was bad.
I'm sorry, man.
yeah,
I know
they-
you were looking forward to that.
Like I said, I'm still
Yeah.
glad I saw it.
Mhm.
Like they had some good stuff in it, but overall it was horrible.
It was
Stick to the.
dumpster fire tier.
I mean, could have told you this before, but stick to the Guillermo del Toro and Ron
Yes.
Perlman ones. But
I didn't really. I mean, for what it was, the original ones, I did enjoy them, but I've never. That was my exposure to
Mhm.
Hellboy as a character. So
yeah,
I think they're
I
looked
really have
on
anything to
now
compare it to.
as like cult classics, aren't they?
Yeah.
they are like if you go back and rewatch them, they're really good movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're still, even those ones and this one, still in my opinion, haven't done the comics justice because the tones are
Sorry.
way different. Like the comics are a lot more somber and a lot more like shadow. It's like the looks, but
How was David Harbour as Hellboy?
he was good.
He was?
Yeah,
Well, that's good at least.
yeah, he was good as Hellboy.
Good.
I didn't like Ian McShane as his father figure.
Sorry, trying to produce while.
Dude, I don't know what it
reaching
is
over.
about Ian McShane, but every movie and show I see him in since Deadwood,
Mhm.
I don't see anybody else but that character.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's
Even in
just
Game
play
of
acting.
Thrones.
Yeah,
It's like,
especially.
oh, it's Ian McShane.
I know. It's like I can't get over it. Like
Yeah.
I just see Ian McShane.
Yeah.
Like the person.
It's great in John Wick, though.
He was great in Deadwood.
I still want to watch.
He was good as being Ian McShane in John Wick.
I highly recommend Deadwood. That's a great show.
Yeah.
But man,
Always heard.
ever since that show, I cannot see him as any other character. I just picture him going cocksucker, like he always does. That's all.
I love your impersonations.
I can't do Ian McShane, but that's what he says like all the time in Deadwood. He's like cocksucker.
I have to watch it now.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah. Any other movies that you guys have watched recently before we move on?
I mean, I haven't really seen any of the movies, but I was watching this show on Hulu called Ghost Adventures throughout the past month.
What is that?
It's with I know you guys don't like ghost stuff.
Not particularly.
Too spooky for me.
It's in the name.
It's my brand.
I don't know. I guess I was like on a horror tick, and I kind of wanted to feel like I wanted to get immersed in like a spooky horror ghost show, and that was always been like hailed as like the best one. It's okay.
It's anticlimactic.
The main guy, he's like really eccentric. Like he's like
As
a
you would hope they
Jersey
would be.
Shore,
On a ghost show.
really egotistical,
Shaggy
really
and Scooby-Doo
into
would be
his
eccentric.
show. I like it because it goes to these old places and it gives the history on it. But then when they actually do the paranormal investigations, it's like always the same shit.
But you had higher expectations going into
Yeah,
it than you-
basically.
Yeah.
Like there was like 2 moments that were like, whoa, that's scary. But the rest of it's just the same old, ball of lights or scratching noises or
Yeah.
bangs on the door. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
trying to not get my expectations too high for Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
The first Star Wars game that's not a Battlefront game since EA's had the exclusive license.
Yeah.
And the more I read about it, the more excited I get, which I really hate. But I love single player Star Wars games. This one I can't tell if it's going to be more like The Force Unleashed or like Jedi Knight. The Jedi Knight series, which it's melee combat is what they said. It's melee focus, which makes me think more Force Unleashed.
I haven't seen the trailer, but I heard from Robert that it was like a story trailer.
Yeah, it was very.
It didn't show
cinematic as
gameplay.
well.
Yeah,
it was a cinematic trailer.
I wasn't overwhelmed by the trailer. It was just okay to me. I'm more excited by that it's a single player Star Wars game than the trailer actually exciting me. It was like, all right, like I want to see gameplay and stuff.
So I'm not gonna immediately be like, oh, congratulations to Respawn and EA for celebrating it being a single player only game with no microtransactions, because that's what we've been getting from Star Wars in decades past. That's what we get from the PlayStation exclusive games, the Sony exclusive games, no microtransactions, single player games. And you don't see like Santa Monica Studio being like, oh, there's no DLC, no microtransactions, give us applause now. It's like, no, I'm gonna pay for your game, I'm gonna play it, and that's me rewarding you, and you're rewarding me in kind with a good experience. That's how it should be. That's how it should go. So if this is a good game, I'm going to be very excited for it. I love the fact, especially after reading all the stuff about Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem being on Frostbite and all of the difficulties that they had with that, that Respawn is actually developing this on the Unreal Engine.
Nice.
Which is fantastic. I almost said
like
Unity,
Unreal,
which would have been freaking hilarious. But yeah, on the Unreal Engine, which is a lot more accessible for people. I think it's not something that only EA has used, and they were trying to force every game. Even Dragon Age was brought down because it had to be on Frostbite.
Yeah. I would say the only worst game engine would be Bethesda Softworks. That's a bad engine.
I don't know. Obsidian made it work pretty well.
It has its quirks.
It does have its quirks, but it's really good for the type of game that it was. The bad thing about Frostbite is that it was specifically designed by DICE for Battlefield.
Yeah.
And it was trying to be implemented into a third-person RPG like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, and then Anthem which whatever. Those stories, if you guys go back and read those stories, if you haven't already, Kotaku, specifically the more recent one about Anthem, it's a really long read. Took me a better part of a work day off and on throughout the day to read.
Really in depth.
It's probably a good 40-minute read.
Great
Good
reporting.
insight into how hard these people work for us to rip in 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah, it's a fantastic article. Do yourselves a favor and read that. But with that being said, about Jedi Fallen Order, I have a long history with Star Wars games. I've loved the majority of them until this past decade. And I'm excited that it's Respawn of all the studios now that EA owns. I'm glad that it's Respawn because of how hands-off EA was with Apex Legends. And that turned out to be a really, really well-polished game that people loved to play, that loved Battle Royales. This game is going to be a single-player Star Wars game. I'm hoping they're making it specifically for people that love single-player Star Wars games.
Hopefully so, yeah.
I've wanted an open-ish world, like an Assassin's Creed style Star Wars game for a while. And I'm hoping that's kind of the direction this is taking. But the fact that it's on Unreal and EA is allowing it to not be on Frostbite is already a glimmer of hope, and it's
something to look forward to.
I don't want to get my hopes up too high,
No.
I'm wearing a Boba Fett t-shirt right now. But this is because of the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
That looked awesome.
that looks really cool. I didn't watch
I'm looking forward to that.
I didn't watch the footage of it from Star Wars Celebration until yesterday. I finally watched it.
Yeah, I noticed because they cut it off during the live stream of the event.
People had
but
to
I noticed
record it.
But yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, that looks so. I love Pedro Pascal,
Yeah,
so I'm excited that
Absolutely.
he's and all the directors they got, like Taika Waititi, and then what's the other one? Rick. I can't say his last name, Fuyama or something like that. But he did this movie called Dope that was really good.
it was dope.
It was
dope.
It's a great movie. You guys should watch it if you haven't seen it. But yeah, just the talent behind it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff coming.
Yeah.
We finally got the name for Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker.
That's
And the teaser.
interesting.
Yeah.
That was a good trailer.
I'm glad that they're back on track is what it feels like. Back with J.J. Abrams at the helm. It feels like it's back on track for more episodes. I loved Episode 7 for what it was. Episode 8 was a great standalone movie, but it didn't feel like a trilogy movie to me.
Yeah.
Not really, no.
I liked the movie a lot. It just didn't make sense with the continuity of the rest of the Skywalker saga.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
who am I?
The end of the teaser though blew me away. I was not expecting the.
I don't think anybody
Palpatine.
The
really
Emperor.
was.
There's
Yeah.
actually, I guess, been a lot of theories already, like
Really?
that he was coming back. Yeah, people speculating online, even from Episode 7, saying that they're going to bring him back. So some people weren't surprised, but I sure as hell was.
I was surprised too. I try to stay away from online rumors and spoilers and stuff. I try to stay away from all that kind of stuff. But it was in the plans from the beginning, from Episode 7, that Palpatine would be back in one way or another.
And he's such a
Papa
great
Palpatine.
character.
He really
And
is.
the actor is so great in the role. So I'm
He is.
excited to see him. Yeah.
I loved going from how he was in Episodes 5 and 6 to seeing how he was like the saving grace of the prequel trilogy. Excuse me a second. Excuse me. He was one of these saving graces. I think Darth Maul in Episode 1 was also great. But
In the pod race.
Everyone loves pod racing.
Yeah.
it brought such stupid lines as, now this is pod racing. That was after the pod race scene, but it was in reference to the pod race
But
scene.
it still looked cool.
Pod
Chesco
racing was
Sebulba.
amazing.
Oh, God.
It led to a really fun arcade / N64 game.
I love that game.
But it was,
That was a good
it's
game.
like the most overrated scene in all of Star Wars, in my opinion.
That's like your opinion, man.
That's why I just said, in my opinion, man. Seriously, though, it's what's so great about it? It looked cool, but in the same way that NASCAR looks cool.
You have to
NASCAR
remember
doesn't look cool.
this was
It's-
99.
Exactly.
This is 1999.
Totally different.
This was
around the
the-
same time as the Matrix, right?
Well, yes.
Matrix
Same year,
looks, it was Matrix was fucking awesome.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that looked cool.
It did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the pod race scene did not. In my opinion, it didn't do anything for me. It really didn't.
But
What was so
it
exciting
was
about it?
visually like stunning to see the
going-
race.
Yeah, they're going so fast, and they die, and there's Tusken Raiders on the
Yeah,
turnpike shooting
and,
at them.
You know, Sebulba.
It's like, oh, it's Aura Singh. Oh my god. I am glad
I
that they
take it. I
canonized
take
Aura
it.
Singh.
You don't enjoy racing segments in video games.
Absolutely not. No,
That's
I
why.
hate them.
That's why.
They're the worst.
Some of my favorite things in games is when the game genre bends and you have to do like a little portion of the game as like a different genre.
I hate that.
Like I remember in
That's what I like about the end of Halo.
See,
yeah,
I hated
exactly.
It's all of a
that.
sudden
the
now it's a
Warthog.
race and you're
Yeah.
like,
I was going to bring up Star Wars Knights of the Republic.
No,
the first one.
Rewind.
What?
Warthog.
Yeah.
Okay. Fast forward.
Well, I was going to mention Star Wars Knights of the Republic.
Yeah.
Remember racing on Manon?
Those were horrible.
I love
races.
those.
That was so bad.
That
I
was
don't remember
fun.
that.
It was not a fun race. It was like when you fly from one planet to another and you had to do the space combat in the Ebonhawk. It was just a way of extending the game that didn't need to be there.
I
Because the
mean,
game was great how it was without that extra.
I like
shit.
it because it breaks
thrown
up
in.
the gameplay and it kind of mixes it up.
I really need to replay
Yeah.
that game.
For me, it was just unnecessary fluff.
I mean, it was a
is what it
fun
felt
quest
like.
because you were
If you
in the middle of this. I mean,
play
that whole
Pazak,
planet.
man, play Pazak if you're wanting to break stuff up. I mean,
I was gonna try and
hunt
finish
for
my
lightsaber
points.
color crystals.
I
Finish
can't
your
wait
point.
for our Star Wars episode.
Finish your point.
It's gonna get super nerdy.
I mean, that's what I love about that whole portion of the game and that planet because it's like a political intrigue, like espionage.
Between the biker gangs.
Yes, and the political people. I can't remember. It's been a long time.
The political. That was a
I don't
Marilyn
know.
Manson song, right? Political people.
I suppose. But that whole planet was great. It just you could approach it any way you wanted, like tackle whichever thing you wanted to do first.
Yeah.
It was a great way to break up the main story.
No, I like side quests in general, especially with intriguing plot lines.
So it
You
made
just
it a
don't
good
like
game.
driving side.
The actual changing of the gameplay itself doesn't do much for me.
Yeah.
Unless it's part of the gimmick of the game, like with Evoland. I think I mentioned that. How
Well,
it
I mean-
goes from like classic Game Boy to all the way through to
That's what is
Current gen.
really great about certain AAA games is that they can take those different types of gameplay ideas and put them in one game.
they can't anymore.
Well, not anymore.
That's what indie
It's
games
too much.
are now.
It's too much work for them.
Yeah.
They're crunched enough as it is
It's-
just to get the game working properly.
You can't control C, control V on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'm excited for our Star Wars episode now.
Yeah. It's gonna be
I
good.
think that'll be 2 weeks from today. I think that's what we'll do. The next
okie
episode.
dokie.
Nice.
Omidopi.
So 2 weeks from today, and then 2 weeks after that, we'll have our anniversary episode.
Yeah.
So
okay.
4 weeks.
That's how that works. Let's see. 1, 2.
But you
There's-
said the
there's
21st
calendar on the other
of
wall
May
of our
was not
den.
our anniversary.
No, the 15th is our anniversary.
Yeah, but we won't have an episode to release that day.
Let's see. We
that
have one.
week.
Today's now the 23rd,
Yeah.
and then the next one will be
14th.
the 7th, and then
Next one will be the 14th. Oh,
no, we don't have one that
Hi,
week.
guys.
You're right.
We're still here.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about this when we're not recording. Oh my goodness.
Well, we did say we wanted to talk about the podcast. Didn't
We'll
we?
probably just have a bonus episode
Okay.
for our 1 year anniversary.
That's probably the
what
best
we'll do.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we go back to every week? Let us know in the comments down below.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Do you want more of us?
You do.
Yeah. I want more of us
Yeah.
right now. I want more of us right now. I've been
Well,
playing
maybe I
the
should just
crap.
lay on the table and.
Not like more physically.
Oh,
I meant
He
more
wants
this-
he
this-
wants your brain.
I want to talk about Satisfactory.
Wants you for your mind.
Can I
talk
talk about Satisfactory
talk
a bit?
away.
Talk away.
It's been out now in early access for almost exactly a month, just over a month.
And it looks like No Man's Sky.
Visually, yeah, it kind of
Yes,
does, and then
visually.
even in the combat when you're exploring and stuff, it does. But once you actually get like the foundation of
Yeah.
your factory and your base, what you're gonna,
I know
do,
it's
then
nothing
it looks
like
nothing
it.
like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But excuse me, that was gross.
It's okay.
My apologies. I still am addicted to it. I put 40 hours into it now.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's like unheard of for you.
And I feel like I've made no progress because for a while I kept tearing down everything I had
Mm.
and just rebuilding it in a more efficient way.
Hmm.
And now I finally have my base set up. So what I have is I've got these long ass conveyor belts stretching from all my coal and my iron and my copper and my stone. and then they're all going into the basement of my base, where they're being smelted into ingots that I can use upstairs in the main floor. And I've got like towers inside the main floor, like separate buildings that are making components out of those. And every time you go up, it's making the next level up with the components that were made down below, using conveyor elevators of my own design.
I feel like we talked about this a month ago.
I kind of talked about it as a plan. But I did.
You actually accomplished it.
As of like
so now you're like
a week ago.
the warden of the factory.
Well, I mean, that's you kind of already.
You know, like if it was Game of Thrones,
manager.
You would be like
The floor manager.
Tyrion, right?
Does he manage factories?
He manages people. He's the hand.
Manages people.
Kevin is the hand of his
Is
computer
there any
mouse.
people in your factory?
No.
See, it's all automated.
The weird thing is though, is that is the point of the game. Yes, to be automated. The weird thing is though, is that it's designed as a multiplayer game, but the people that are playing it still are only playing it single player for the most part because it's so much more fun to not have other people in your way.
Wait, what? Wait, there's multiplayer?
Yeah, it's billed as a multiplayer game.
So
You can have up to 4
the
players.
goal of multiplayer is to build over your opponent
It's not an opponent. There's
or
no opposition. It's
your
co-op.
other warden.
It's co-op.
Oh,
You're building together. You're building a better world
Together.
oh, it's like
by
Minecraft.
smelting.
Kind
Where
of.
you're kinda
There are
building-
comparisons you can make to Minecraft.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
But it's not building whatever you want. It's building factories and automated. It's finding out ways of simplifying your automation to make everything as efficient as possible.
I don't know. I think I like my way better. I just battle it out by conveyor belting each other.
Conveyor belting each other.
You know, just take the conveyor belts and slap each other with them.
If you,
You know?
could pick them up, yeah. Unfortunately, the building's a
Throw
little more
boxes
simplified
full
than
of
that.
product at each other. You know,
You know,
like-
would have been a good idea.
You should never work at a distribution center, Kyle.
no.
Should have taken a screenshot of your factory and had it up on our wall.
I can always do that next time.
Well, next time is
talking about
Star
it
Wars.
next time.
You're gonna have stormtroopers in your factory.
I have an Isaac poster hanging up right here.
You do.
Kratos will be holding a lightsaber.
I haven't mentioned
next
Isaac
week.
once until now. Yeah. Or he'll have lightsabers coming out of his eyes.
There's Celeste behind me.
Yeah, we did talk about Celeste. And we did talk about Ubisoft, go figure.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Gears of War, though.
No
Not
need.
Awesome clock. Awesome clock. By the way, this poster right here, this Isaac poster, I actually have this T-shirt. That's really cool. I
That's a
like
good
it.
poster.
Do you
Good
guys,
image.
Do you guys have like a lot of video game T-shirts at all?
Not really. No.
I have that Mario one that I can't fit into anymore. That's it for video games.
I think I've got like
Mine are mostly
3
Marvel,
Isaac ones.
I think the only thing I have
obviously.
I've got my Shovel Knight shirt.
apparel wise is a Dead Space hoodie that I wore on the Marvel episode that we recorded.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
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 So before I go on a rant about Epic games, just so I don't do that, is there anything that you guys want to cut in with before?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Screw Epic Game Store.
Oh, god damn it. Here we go. Now you're asking for it.
Borderlands 3 is exclusive for 6 months. What the hell, man? This is bullshit.
That doesn't affect me in the
Give
least.
in, Kyle.
No, it's garbage.
Quit being so damn stubborn.
Why is
Why
it
do
garbage?
why do I have to be forced into their exclusivity?
Because you want to play the game.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want it on Steam
Why does it matter?
because my brother has Steam and we could play together co-op.
Well, if your brother's going to get it on PC, he has to get it through Epic Games also. So
I don't want to support them. They're a bad company.
Epic is a bad company
Yes.
compared to Valve.
I'd say yes.
Valve is a horrible company.
I think just the fact that they released Fortnite and preying on kids' addictive nature is bad enough.
Preying on kids' addictive nature. Coming from the guy that
I'm-
supports loot boxes and time savers.
I was going to say, I've witnessed
yes.
that firsthand, so I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
But I still don't think it should stop you from playing a game you want to play.
Well, you have a point there. Good job.
Thank you. I think that's a
Yes.
first.
I
Made many
concede.
points.
I concede.
He's never
to you.
pointed it out before, though.
Okay, that's fair. Okay,
I just hate Epic Game Store. Okay, is that something that's hard to
I
believe?
just don't understand why.
Because they're evil.
Valve is the more evil corporation.
No, it's not.
Oh my god. There is no management.
Epic only cares about
Valve.
Fortnite.
Valve only cares about 30% of any fucking shit game that they can just that anybody can download an asset pack from Unity, throw somebody else's game up on the store, and make money off of with trading cards. Oh, they used to be able to do it with trading cards. But,
Yeah.
and Valve only cares about getting their cut. They'll only take a game off if it's something that they think is going to hurt them at the end of it. Whereas you go on a place like Epic Games, they're giving you a free game every week. You go to a place like...
that's true. So does Microsoft and PlayStation with their online stuff.
Yeah, because it's good business. It's a good way to get a foundation of people to build
Steam
a library.
has free-to-play stuff.
Free-to-play isn't the same as a game that normally costs money that is now free.
Yeah, but you only have it for a little while.
No, you don't. You have it forever.
I thought it was like Microsoft and PlayStation.
The game is in your library forever.
Okay.
Yeah. So you always
That's
have
not
it.
enticing him.
I still hate them. Is I win?
The game store the game store itself has problems.
I just
it doesn't
don't like
have
it.
a shopping cart. It doesn't have a way to buy more than one game at once. They don't have much of the library on there yet. There's a ton of stuff that they haven't done that they should have done before having the actual storefront. But Valve is the worst at curation that is ever. They are the YouTube of video games. They are absolute horseshit at customer service. Do you know how long it took them to get refunds? Years. It was about 2.5 years ago they finally implemented refunds. I've been on Steam now for 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around forever. And they finally just now is like, oh yeah, you can have your money back if a game doesn't fucking work. How did that take them so long? Because they don't care, because they were making a shitload of money. That's evil.
I still hate them.
You can hate them. I don't hate Steam. I just think they're the...
It sounds like you do.
Steam is just more evil than Epic. Valve is more evil than Epic in this situation.
I don't think it's about like
I've loved the games that Valve has made
good
more
versus
than the
evil.
games that Epic... Well, you're the one that said evil.
Well, right now we're comparing evil versus evil, according to you.
Well, no, I didn't call Epic evil.
They did.
They're just the lesser. They're not as evil.
Okay.
They're not as evil.
So basically, they're like...
I'm pro good old games. I'm pro GOG. I love
Yeah.
GOG. That's my jam,
It's a scale that's like constantly swaying in both directions.
Steam has been the only thing that people go to for years. I think it's great to have something that's trying to compete. I love that All Elite Wrestling is coming up, and they're having a TV deal pretty soon that's going to be announced, and all these sold-out pay-per-views, because WWE has been going to shit lately, and they need that actual competition that they haven't had. And that's the same thing with Valve. I think Valve needs to be put in check. If they're not going to be put in check by another company, losing customers isn't going to do shit for them, because they're still making millions upon millions of dollars from developers.
Honestly, I feel like they've done a lot more than Epic has for PC gaming.
Yes, they are the ones that pioneered digital sales on PC. I will not deny that.
Without them, there'd be no Epic Game Store.
But that doesn't excuse them from changing with the marketplace now, or being better as a corporation now. And Epic is taking advantage of that.
I think there's a lot of flexibility with Steam as opposed to Epic.
In what way? I don't understand.
Basically, in the types of products being offered on Steam.
There's too much.
Too much?
Yeah, there are like dozens of games a day being released on Steam.
I think that's a good thing.
How is that a good thing? You can't... If you're an indie developer trying to get your game noticed, how are you going to get noticed on Steam if there's 20 other games that come out that day?
Like you said, competition. It builds great games.
These indie games that are coming out every day, or even these AAA games that are coming out that aren't true PC ports, that are just put over there on Steam because, we have to have it on PC, coming out, they're not to the quality that they should be.
I think
that the curation needs to be there for Steam to be what it used to be.
And I think the early access is a great feature as well.
Satisfactory is an early access, and it's exclusive to Epic Games.
They actually have an early access?
They're in early access right now.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the case.
Yeah. Technically, I think on anything you can release early access now. Okay. I think. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I've never been wrong before, though. So
I don't know. I just feel like there's more variety.
There is. That's the problem. Variety is not a problem, but when you don't... Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, continue.
Variety is not a problem. Variety is good. When there's no management over the variety, that's when it's a problem.
Okay, now what about safety and security, your privacy?
What about it?
Well, Epic Game Store is compromised by hacking.
I haven't heard of this.
You don't.
Has it happened?
Well, you do know that it checks your files, right?
Well, yeah. So does Steam.
Not as thoroughly as Epic Game Store.
I mean, it's not like
That's kind of scary.
What are they gonna dig?
Well,
And find?
from what I've read, their majority of their their shares, is owned by a Chinese company.
Tencent, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is kind of like, what are they doing?
Tencent,
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Tencent is actually Steam's biggest competition in the world.
Yes.
And they also, I think they might own a portion of
I
Valve, or they were
I don't
trying
know.
to.
I don't know.
Tencent is in almost literally every gaming company that exists. They own a portion of so much of it that there's no way of avoiding it anymore.
I suppose
And that's terrifying. But
that's the real evil.
mega corporations.
The common enemy. There we go. Bridging the gap, you guys.
That's it.
I own over 600 games on Steam, and I'm saying that
Yeah, what are you gonna do if Epic closes Valve? All your games are gone.
I don't think they'll ever close Valve. Valve's too big.
What if they get so monopolists?
I don't think they can.
I mean, you
I
never
really
know.
don't think they can. I mean, look, Fortnite took the monopoly from for battle
PUBG.
royales for
Yeah,
less than a year.
Nobody plays
before
PUBG
Apex,
anymore.
Before Apex Legends came out,
yeah.
There's always going to be something now.
Well, it's good to have both. Look, Netflix and Hulu,
Yeah, that's what I think. I said
Amazon
last time,
Prime.
too.
Yeah, it's good to have
PlayStation
competition.
and Xbox.
Wait,
and
what-
it's okay to be a part of both.
What's the contender for Amazon?
No,
Netflix
Amazon
and Hulu.
Prime, like video.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Oh, I
Prime
thought you
Video.
meant Amazon's a company.
No.
Oh no, they're a monopolist.
Yeah,
shit.
they're
Yeah.
they're
they
the
own
king.
Twitch, man.
You're gonna say that about Epic Games one day.
I
You will.
already don't think that Epic Games is like this glorious company. I'm just glad that there's competition to Steam, because Valve has not been managing Steam the way that I would prefer my main store to be managed.
Okay.
That's just the way I look at it. I think about it the same way I do PlayStation versus Xbox. I don't have a specific problem with Xbox. I just like what PlayStation offers more.
I mean, it's good to have exclusivity. Don't get me wrong, but the way they're going about it is horseshit,
It is.
and that's what pisses me off.
they're forcing their way into the market before
Yes.
they were ready.
And not only that, but they're using their high install base for Fortnite as like the
Fucking genius.
foundation to build numbers and get funding.
That is exactly what Valve did.
No.
Started off as if you had Half-Life 2, you had to install Steam, and from there with Counter-Strike Source, you had to have Steam, and that's where that came from.
No, but there was nothing else like it before then. You had to buy the game like in a box.
Yeah.
Like this was digital.
No, it's what does it matter? What apples and green apples and red apples.
Oranges?
Bananas.
Coconuts.
The origin story of Epic Games is so much like the origin story of Valve.
Console exclusivity, I think, is starting to lose its luster.
I think console exclusivity sucks personally as a consumer. Any kind of exclusivity sucks as a consumer. I'm not going to deny
Because,
that.
I mean, it's evident with all these great PlayStation exclusives. And then you got Microsoft exclusives, and then you got Nintendo exclusives. But I feel like it's not really a console war anymore. I feel like everyone's just trying to,
Catch them all.
yeah, basically, like anybody is like, I'll do something stupid by jumping off this chair. And then, someone else be like, I'll jump off this chair without a shirt on. Stuff like that. Like they keep trying to one up each other.
I think I'm up to speed with what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I think.
Basically, they're trying to constantly push the envelope for innovation.
Okay. Like the discless
Yeah, like the
so
new
glad I said that right
Xbox.
first
The new
try.
Xbox.
The discless Xbox One
Yeah,
S.
this is a great segue. So the new Xbox streaming console, or is it just digital only? Like you digitally download the games rather than having a disc drive.
I think they're expecting more people to get Xbox Game Pass or the bundle of Xbox Live Gold Ultimate that has Game Pass included.
Because oh, go ahead.
They're focusing more on people streaming the games, but you can still download games digitally because I think it would still have a hard drive, and even if it doesn't, you can plug one in.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of the original version of the Xbox One before people were all up in arms about sharing games and all that kind of stuff. They wanted a mostly digital experience.
Yeah, I mean, I might be biased, but
no,
I think I would enjoy the Xbox digital only console.
I was debating buying one.
I'm not going to buy it because I already own an X.
I
but
don't.
If they had an Xbox One X digital only, I probably would have bought that. For sure.
I don't have a 4K TV.
You know, if I hadn't already bought one, I would have bought the digital one.
The only thing that's keeping me from wanting to buy the discless S is because I don't think any one game, or even the games that I've missed out on this generation, are worth $250 for the console.
Okay.
Are there any exclusives? Are there any exclusives that I've missed out on the Xbox that are worth buying the console for?
I really don't think. No.
Yeah.
Xbox is really
It's a shame.
shit in the bed this generation. Yeah.
I don't like exclusivity. I'm not gonna say the way that Epic Games is going about the store, their new storefront, is the way to do it. I'm just glad that somebody's doing it in general. And
I mean,
I don't see a problem with having both.
Going back to Randy Pitchford, because of Borderlands 3 being exclusive, the Steam reviews got bombed hard for Borderlands 1 and 2.
That's just another problem with Steam, is that because of something like this, somebody could be looking into buying
It's
Borderlands
not a problem.
1.
It's a freedom
You were
of speech.
one of those reviewers, weren't you?
No, I don't do that shit.
Kyle?
It's misdirected freedom of speech.
I don't think so. I think it's trying to make
Because
a point.
Borderlands 3 is... Gearbox is doing something stupid with Borderlands 3. The Steam reviews for Borderlands 1 and 2 should be nailed down for that?
No, it's like they're trying to make a stand. Like they're trying to make a point.
There's other ways to do it.
I think that's...
There's not.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is.
There are totally other
But
ways
this
to
was
do
the
it.
only
That's what
way to
social
get the
media is
attention of
for. Social media, man.
Social media doesn't do shit anymore.
More people pay attention to that than Steam reviews.
Not for the video game industry.
I would be surprised if that was true.
No, it's only when you hit them in the balls that they'll take notice. And then when the Steam reviews dropped, they took notice.
They took notice because it was dumb.
And then Randy was like, I don't care.
Yeah. And even what he said, I agree with Randy Pitchford. That's another problem with Steam.
It's not Steam. It's the people.
They allow
the
that
voice,
and they don't go back and...
the collective voice of the audience for the game.
Okay, so like when someone review bombs a movie before it
Captain
comes out,
Marvel.
like Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
just because they didn't like the actress or whatever, that's
different.
fine.
That
That's
was
the
sexist.
exact-
how is it different?
That's sexist.
It's
But
still...
it's the same thing. They're
Borderlands,
expressing it the
no,
same way.
No, that's different because it's like a personal attack. This isn't a personal attack. This
The
is
same thing happened with Star Wars.
What happened with
So
Star
as a
Wars?
personal attack, people were review bombing 8.
Because it was a terrible movie.
It wasn't terrible.
It was a terrible
It was a good movie. It wasn't a good
not
trilogy
terrible
movie, but it was a good movie.
It was not a good movie.
But the point is, they were review bombing it, even though it was a good movie. They were doing it out of spite. So how is that?
Yeah,
how
but
is that
if you go to
personal?
Metacritic now, like the actual reviews for the audience are like bad, and the
'Cause they
actual
review
critic.
bombed it.
Well,
That's exact.
no,
Rotten
but
Tomatoes had
that
to
was
go
2
back
years
and-
ago.
Rotten Tomatoes had to go back and fix what people were doing with the review bombing of Captain Marvel.
But I like I said, that's different because it was like
It's
a
still
personal attack.
It's still review bombing something before it comes out based on a personal biased.
No, but this is different because they're
I get it.
holding
It is
the
morally
product away that people would throw money at.
it is
me.
morally wrong to be sexist, and it's not morally wrong to be anti-Epic Games. I get that distinction.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
But the outcome is the exact same of the review bombing of a product based on something mostly unrelated
It's very much
before
related.
it comes out.
This is very related because it's not coming out on the platform that people were expecting it to come out on.
Yeah, so why review bomb the first 2 games based on that?
To make a point. Like, what they're doing is messed up.
We're just going to be talking in circles on
Yes.
this. Oh, man. Review bombing a game in general is a shitty practice. It really is. It is a stupid thing to do. It is a waste of time, and it's a terrible way to get attention.
That's not true at all.
It is true.
It is absolutely
No, it's
my
not. Review
opinion.
bombing can be a good thing.
The idea of what people are trying to get across from review bombing could be a good thing.
The Notre Dame fire made people review bomb Assassin's Creed Unity because it was being given out for free. And people review bombed it saying how awesome that was on Steam. It was a story I read just today.
So it wasn't negative, though.
No, it was positive.
Yeah. Positive is the opposite of negative.
You said review bombing in general was
Negative
bad.
review bombing.
No, you said review bombing like in general.
A review bomb is when it's negative. That's the definition of it. Like when you
Review bombing is
I
like
also
good.
don't think
So let's start the
Ubisoft.
distinction now then. When we say review bombing, we're talking about negative.
I still think that
Yeah.
that's the wrong way to review a game. If a game's been being given out for free because of a class act that Ubisoft actually did, I still
I'm
think
done, people.
that reviewing that game based on an actual
I have no horse in this race. I don't even know why I'm here.
Oh man, I still don't think that that's even right to do. I mean, it's a really good gesture that Ubisoft should be lauded for, but they shouldn't. I don't think that should change the reviews of the game. The game itself is still a shit game, probably.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's a decent game.
And probably now when it came out.
I mean, this is an Ubisoft game. Be careful. I mean, this is like our Bible, you know? God, we fucking love Ubisoft games over here.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's why there's a front. Oh, you can't see it.
Yeah, you can't see
Frowny
the
faces
poster,
behind me.
unfortunately.
There's darts in there too. See,
But, I mean, come on, you know?
I don't.
You guys...
Come on, you know.
Come on. You know?
You know? Come on.
Come on.
You guys know. Come on.
Oh man, help us out with this argument because I think that reviewing something negatively or positively based on something else that is not the thing that's being reviewed is stupid. It's stupid nonsense.
Agreed.
I don't think that that's the way it should be.
I think it helps make a point, make a stand against these companies that continue to shovel their decisions into our faces, and we have to deal with it. Or we could, make a stand and say how we feel and
That's
make
not
these
the
people
way to
listen.
do it. Don't buy the game. That's the way to do it.
Well, I already intend
Or
on
review
that.
the game poorly when it comes out.
That's review bombing.
No, that's reviewing that game. They didn't review Borderlands 3. They reviewed Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2.
yes.
When you play it and then you review it, that's a review.
Yeah. Review bombing something totally
Semantics.
unrelated. Oh, man. That's not semantics. It's the key distinction. Oh, I've not been this fired up in so long. I missed this podcast.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
God, I love this podcast.
You're welcome.
Oh, man.
Have to do my part.
I've got some things in the works that are gonna hopefully be on this channel separate from this podcast. Weird segue, I know, but
My segue was going to be better.
you know what? My segue is bester.
Let me be the judge. You go first. What's your segue?
I was going to say, hey, talking about reviews,
That's excellent. That is excellent.
I know you guys aren't really excited about this game, but I was excited about Days Gone.
Yeah.
And the review embargo is
The day before.
on till Thursday, the day before it comes out.
Yeah.
And it has me a little worried. I mean,
I'm worried too.
I already got the collector's edition of the game because I'm really excited about it. And so I'm a little worried, but I'm hoping it's like one of those things where it's like Marvel where they'll wait because they know it's so good. And so
It's not going to be that. It's not going to
It
be
might.
that.
Hey, I'm holding out hope. But
You can do it,
it's
Robert.
a little worrisome. But
You can do it.
I'm getting it
Stay
either
strong.
way. But
You'll probably still enjoy the game, though.
I think
'cause
so.
I
You
think
would.
you have a good grasp of what the game's going to be.
exactly like I've watched all the footage, like developer stuff and all that, and it looks really fun.
Mhm.
All the previews have been positive, so
Yeah.
I'm so excited for it. But yeah, that was It's like I can't remember the last game that had the review come out that close before.
A while, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of games coming out
So
soon.
was that a better segue, Kyle?
Well, yeah. What was your segue?
I was segueing to the end of the show.
Yeah.
I was wrapping up to the end of the show. I was gonna let
Mine
people
was better.
know
It
that
went to reviews.
There's still, hopefully in the future, going to be more pushing buttons content. Pushing
We're gonna
content
be
buttons.
pushing
Living up
content
to our
on
here.
namesake right here.
Yeah, and since I like getting on a soapbox and talking about things that I'm passionate about, and I see that Kyle is equally opposite, but still as passionate about it. I think once I do what I'm going to do, I want to invite Kyle on there to be the counter to me on that.
You mean the
That would be
heel?
great.
The heel.
I think
you.
I've played the heel.
Be point
And
counterpoint.
Huh?
I've
Nuh-uh.
played devil's advocate. I'm the one yelling and being like, no,
No.
but that's wrong. You're so wrong.
But you proved your point. You won.
According to you, you won, and Robert had a good point.
You both had good points. That's what the point of a debate is. It's a debate. No one's wrong. No one's right. We all had good
The
points.
facts that I had were correct, though.
Well, nobody fact checks us anyway,
That's true. We need you to fact check us.
especially me.
Please. But if you do fact check us, let us know in the comments. Comment down below. Review, like, subscribe, you know. If you didn't like it, you should review bomb everything else we've ever done just to prove a point to Kyle.
Hey, it works.
Thumbs down
We'll
on
hear you.
everything.
We'll hear your points. We'll listen and we'll take notice.
If you want to get in touch with us, hit us up on Twitter at Pushing Buttons P, Instagram at Pushing Buttons Podcast. I'm at ImpulseG66.
At Too Spooky for Robert.
At Monumentus Kyle.
And we no longer have a website for you to look at. You're welcome. Great, right?
We ran out of funding.
Yeah, well, the funding was whatever I felt like I was willing to put on my credit card, and I just paid everything off and was like, nah, I don't want to
Don't
put
blame
it
you
on
one
my credit card
bit.
anymore. We didn't need a website.
No.
Nah, we don't need a website.
No.
We have this awesome podcast where we now look more magnificent and
Yeah.
hopefully 60
what?
frames a second, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, depending on what OBS wants to do, in our den, which is awesome and
Yeah.
The
cool.
new studio. Yeah.
Cozy.
It is cozy in
You should
here.
get a fireplace.
Ooh, I like that.
fireplace. I think we've got one in the office over there. Anyway, until Star Wars episode next time, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Hope you liked it. Let us know what you think about us being back. Do you want us to go away again? Too bad we're not gonna. Anyway, we will see you next time.
Adios.
Bye.
Love you as I awkwardly reach for the stop recording button.